subscribe down below. Thank you, everybody. Welcome back again to Shannon Confidential, Being Human, Living in the Matrix. We are now at part 4 with Louis Luzzo letting us know how in the world do we handle what we've just been told? What do we do now? Can't wait to bring it back. Here he comes, Louis Luzzo, part 4, Being Human, Living in the Matrix.
We had talked about the Jesus thing, and that was just as an aside to give an example of the fact that history is not what we thought it was. And the stories we've been told are not what we thought they were. Specifically with, let's go before that, back 50, 60, 100,000 years. Our ancestors and the ancient civilizations were much more advanced than we are because they were extraterrestrial. And that's been hidden from us. So in order for you to do the next steps as someone who's now enlightened or awakened, or whose interest has been piqued, my God, this guy talked about some incredible things. What do I do with that information now? So sources and people to go talk to, because that's really what my job is. To pique your interest, to give you some sizzle. It's okay if you think I'm crazy, because you'll come back at some point with a wow, because the things that I'm talking about are now being proven with new science, new eyes, new looks at things, re-looks at things. So there's a few people that you need to talk to, or go to talk to, listen to, find out from about some of the things we've been talking about in the specifics of ancient civilizations and what's been done and not been done. There's a really great series. Now, if you're not a fan or familiar with the Gaia.com network and the fact that it costs you $12 a month, get yourself involved, get yourself information. You're contributing to the cause. A lot of what I have to say and what's verifiable in terms of facts is there on Gaia. Check it out.
And how do you spell that, Louis?
G, just like just like our planet, GAIA.com.
Okay.
Gaia. And so there's people that you need to talk to about. Now, with regard to some of the science, Ben Davidson, Suspicious Observers, the group, the Earth Catastrophe Cycle, Dr. Anthony Peratt, the Thunderbolts Project, Wall Thornhill, David Talbot, Thunderbolts of the Gods. These are all phrases and things that you can start researching. Anyway, so these are some names of some people you can start to do the research. Dr. Peratt is Los Alamos, very famous area, scientific. He can talk to you about plasma and the Sapphire Project and things like that. Ben Davidson is a number of not only cosmic disaster videos that talk all about the climate, talk all about real science, talk all about real astronomy, real astrology, real cosmology, and the real things going on with the sun and what happens. That debunk NASA, that's the guy you should talk to. Look up Stephen Crothers, that's Crothers, a very astounding mathematician who has basically debunked and proven and disproven everything that Einstein said about the theory of relativity,
okay,
and dark matter and NASA and the current space gravitational wave continuum. It's BS. It's hierarchical fantasy as much as unicorns. Oh wait, unicorns have their own planet. That's another story. We don't even go there. So those are people you can start on the scientific end of things, looking at what we're talking about. With regard to the matrix, you can start talking to people and listening to people like Greg, get his last name in a second, David Icke, um, telling you about the matrix and how the quantum physics of this system works. Nassim Haramein, the Resonance Project. These are places to go that have information, scientific information about our new understanding of quantum entanglement and quantum physics. The people that did the experiment about the observed proton, that when a proton is shot through a opening, or it does one thing. If you watch it, it does something completely different. So is the observed observing the observer observing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's down at the proton level of quantum entanglement. And the fact that even though, no matter what the distance is, if you separate protons inside an atom and you move them from one distance to another, even miles, even light years apart,
They'll move.
One feels does the same thing the other does.
I've
They
seen
move the
that
same
entire
way.
documentary. It's amazing.
Right. So now
Mind-blowing amazing.
these are the things that prove quantum entanglement and prove this thing that we're talking about, is that this law of one, which is where it all comes back down to, that everything is connected. So on an empirical data-driven basis to wrap your head around what's happening, look for those things. In the beginning, we gave you some names of some people and some drugs and some things that you can do to do the information with regard to COVID and that lie. Now, we've given you the Bilderbergs. We've given you the ability to go look at the corporations, the entanglement of those few who are running the many and how they're doing it. The quantum theory of sending a signal that we hear, that we've been told is tinnitus, but it's just an information wave they can't hide from us anymore because there's that much waves in it, trying to keep the hologram, the holodeck, from collapsing so that you don't see the rip and the tear that Truman saw and say, hey, wait a minute, there's a hole in the sky. Okay?
Yes.
So that's all available to you. That's part of the awakening of this. That's the bad end. Because then you realize if you are manipulated about that, you are manipulated about everything else we've been talking about. The wars haven't happened because wait a minute. That means both sides were playing both sides of the war. And the war was just a thing we experienced that they manipulated and played. Okay, now you do this, now you do that, like we're chess pieces. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Bilderberg Group, the royal families, the royal bloodlines from Atlantis, Ra, Thoth, and the Essenes, and the Gnostic texts, and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the Apocrypha, which has all the books and the stories, the real stories of the lives of my compadre and my bud, which is the Jesuits, and who he and they and are, and I say are, and were, and how they're here to help you. And that names in different cultures, as you start to go back through the Greeks and the Sumerians, the Babylonians, and the Hopi Indian, and the Aborigines, and the Incas, and the Mayans, and the Aztecs, and we go back, and we start going back and back and back and back. And what happens is, once your gloves are off, and you're actually feeling, once they've pulled the thing out of your head, once you see that maybe, okay, this isn't correct, and you start to get those validations as it happens, it's just like waking up is just like waking up. You realized it was a dream, but then it wasn't a dream, and then you were screaming, and then you realized you were hungry, and then you realized you ate a big marshmallow, and your pillow's gone. Okay, and it was reality. And wait, or was it just a dream? which one was it? Which is the dream? The dream where the veil comes off and the pineal and the melatonin starts to happen, and we actually get that DMT rush, and it opens up because we're asleep, and the download comes in, and we get to hear the things that we hear. Things that you need to check is your origins. Your origins aren't that you came out of a primordial ooze as an amoeba that turned into a fish that we still have, and the amoeba we still have, and then turned into an amphibian, who then turned into a reptile, who then turned into a mammal, who then turned into upright walking ape, that then turned into Homo something or other. Then there's a missing link. Immaculate Conception, missing link. Hello, everything is the same. And we always repeat, when it works, it works. He doesn't change the process. Okay, so the missing link. Okay, that then somehow the missing link, and poof, God said, here, I'm going to pop you out on Eden. Here's Adam, here's Eve. We're all new. Don't eat that tree. The serpent's bad. Here we go. My name's Yahweh. We made you. Here's the deal. Here's the story. And now here we are. That's all for a reason. And it goes all the way back to that. It goes back to why were the Hebrews let out of, who were the Hebrews? Who were the Egyptians? Who were before the Egyptians? Who are the ancient pre-Adamite races? Who were the builder races? Are there builder races? I have a graphic on my page. It's the first pinned page. It's called the mission parameters. On there, that graphic holds everything through from all the factions involved, the guardian races, the builder races, the awakening Q, the political process, the draconians, the Nazis, it's all in this one graphic right there. And it goes all the way through where we are now. And you'll see it, the light workers and the beings and the portions of what's happening now and the awakening and the awareness. Then it says the Great Awakening, which is what we're in the midst of.
It's amazing.
And then it goes into how each, the secret space force and the chakras and the great solar flash and the DNA construction and deconstruction, and okay, it's all here, all there, and now we're just starting to see it, and it's now starting to become available to us because of this thing lifting off. But it's all been part of this process to hide the truth. Now, it's at the point now where we have brought humans to when they all see the evidence, as we're starting to show you, and that's going to be about a 2 to 3 year process from this point till the point where maybe I will open contact to come before that. I don't know, but at some point within the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be the day the earth sits still. It has to be. So now you know that you've been lied to. You know there's a system. Now you need to know, how does the system work, and where's the system taking me?
Yeah, what to do.
So now it's a time to do. It's about body alignment or body empowerment. Now it's about lining chakras up, because chakras actually exist. Let's talk about the word. I love the Indian language because it's so Sanskrit, mimics our old languages from Kem and Atlantis, and Kem being Egypt is what we called it. It was Hem then. Ra is an energy system, source, people, person, societal memory complex.
Okay.
Of beings and entities and energies, or Ra. Each one of those names is a vibration. Your name complex, Shannon, is a vibration. Louis, Christos, Father, Kem, Ra, those Kundalini, which is what we're going to talk about next. Your Kundalini. The symbol of the Kundalini is, everyone knows it medically. It's the cross with the serpent wrapped, and that's healing. And where that comes from medically is the spiritual Kundalini, which is what we are. Let's back up. Quantum brain, quantum computer, 10% on, above a biological sleeve that has certain receptors that have been blocked, except for the first, second, and third, sometimes fourth, fifth, even sixth, when you're talking about Teslas, and you're talking about Edisons, and you're talking about de Blakey's. Let's talk about de Blakey's, okay, about source and this thing, okay? So it's a quantum computer, which is what they tell you they're looking for, but they're not, because that's what we are. We're a quantum computer. You're a quantum computer. Everything that happens to you happens right here. From the signals you get here, from the signals in the ether that are being sent here, that you can't see. Why can't you see them? Because those signals are so high in vibration, they are outside of our, we talked about, see, this is where we all tie it together in a nice little bow tie. Everything we talked about.
Yep.
In this spectrum that we can only see and hear and feel. Third dimension, sight dimension, audio dimension, okay, 10% of our brain using 10% of our DNA and using 10% of our body, the actual body that we have, that we all now know and feel is much more than we are, much more than just this. Who are we? Where do we come from? Why do I feel this way? Why do I believe there's a soul? Why do I know, even though I don't know, though I don't understand, there's something more to me than there is? Because there is, and the veil's lifted now. Everybody's going to be walking a different path now. It's okay that your mind is blown and you're still stuck on, we have a secret space force. That's okay. It's okay that you're still back on, what do you mean Jesus was 3 people? It's okay that you're back on whatever we've talked about that has blown your mind, that we live in a matrix, this, that, the other thing, COVID, all the things that you're already finding out, the things that you now see, I mean, just go look at your mainstream and cohesive. Notice that every station has every single phrase the same. Every little fight has the same phrase or thing we're doing now, the seed thought, the many, the few, the one, the seed thought that we give you, and everybody says it. And if you say it enough times, Joseph Goebbels, okay, they'll believe it. Fauci, COVID, you say it enough times, they'll believe it because they don't know anything else. And at some point, we get rid of all the people who did know. We only have the people who now know what we tell them. And now from this point on, we have just eliminated completely a complete portion of history, a complete portion of our reality, a complete portion of what's gone on. And we, as your creators, the creator has said that is not acceptable. And all this was all about was your illusion of control, so we could expose you to them. You could now see what you see and become the pan that you are. Who are you? You are the pan. Now, the help couldn't come. My post for today, which starts you back into the journey of where we're going Kundalini-wise. It first starts with belief. Belief that this is true. Belief that you have the ability to change this. The only way you can change this is to see who you actually are. To know who you actually are, you have to get into your origins. You have to find out who you aren't that you've been told you are. How did they put you in that box? Oh, there you are, Peter, which is what I have on my face, on my blog today, which is your inner pan, hook. Robin Williams. We get back to movies and messages. We always come back full circle. We never forget what you've asked ahead of time because they always bring it back full circle to me in terms of how it goes. Full circle being the sphere being the most perfect thing because it encompasses everything. It's connected and it's one thing, but it's many things. I have many things in this sphere right now. My hands. Many things in our sphere right now. many things in the sphere right now. Then there's the sphere. But the pan and movies like that, and all the movies that we're going to talk about that I'm going to recommend to you that you should go watch, that are going to make it click. Make it click. Oh my God, that's what they were talking about. How did that happen? Well,
Yeah, they made a movie about it.
We've been doing this for a long time, and we're really good at it, millions of years. So when you think what you think, you don't think what you think because we've told you to think what you think. You think what they think they told you to think, but we made them think they thought what they thought you thought. In other words, there's a master plan. There's a master infinite creator. There's a prime creator, PC. There's a prime creator. We'll just leave that out there for you all to go. There's a prime creator out there that wrote the program. And if the program's already written and he knows the program, and he's just now letting us all experience it ourselves so that he or it or that can experience the program from all of our perspectives, then it already has the program done. In the program, though, is infinity, which means the program can rewrite itself as it rewrites, because the program with all these little entities are their own programs, multiverses, which can then write their own programs and interact that program with that program and your program and my program and so forth. It's an entangled, it's that matrix of everything being connected. You can choose by free will to open up or not open up. You can be blocked. You can see it all, you can see none of it. So the choice was taken away from mankind. That's what this whole awakening thing is about. We're giving you back the choice. You can see it. You can believe what you've been told. We're going to show you that it's not true. We're going to show you what is true. And then your choice is your choice. Do we come back? Do you want us to land? Do you want this to be your reality? Or do you want what you have now to be a reality? Do you want every liberal city? Sorry, every liberal city in dire need of just water to drink? Do you want riots in your streets? Do you want division between each other in terms of race, in terms of believing something you don't even know exists? You all are fighting over something that doesn't even exist, because each one of your constructions and realities and religions put together a construct to keep you divided, and it's not even the right construct. So you're all fighting over something that doesn't even exist and killing each other. So it's time we step in and show you what actually exists and what's real, so that you can choose to not be deceived anymore, choose to not do this, choose. And the way to that opening and reaction is the sciences first, showing you the reality, have it connect, and then talk to you about this Kundalini thing, which was made into our bodies, these glands that we have, these things, these receptors that accept the waves.
Okay.
First off, we now know that we only see a certain amount of waves. So how do we see all the waves? Well, just knowing that they're there and that we have to look for them is an awakening in and of itself. So everybody's at a different stage. Some just getting their minds blown, like we talked about, where we stopped. Some who have known for a while that something's wrong and they're questioning it, but they're still stuck societally in fear of A, retribution from their masters, those that control us, the powers that be, they, or ridicule from their peers. You saw an alien? ETs don't exist. By the way, don't you dare make fun of my guy up in the clouds who sends me magic thoughts. So wait, my ET guy's crazy, but your guy up in the clouds is okay. What's our degree of delusion that you're willing to go in? And which is your brand of delusion? Is your brand of delusion the force? Is your brand of delusion the metaphysical, the science, the ethereal, the psionic, the telepathy, the force, the ether? Is it Yahweh? Is it Muhammad? Is it Allah? Is it God? What is your construct and box that you've created of what you don't understand is? Or have you're just completely agnostic it and say none of that really exists because I don't see it? So see, Shannon, and my hands are not doing this in front of my face because my eyes are closed, because it doesn't exist if we don't want it to. No, Allah, God, Sophia is. It is your choice to accept that or not. Now, do you want to be in a box that you're shown? You want to stay in your box because it's comfortable? You don't have to think, and learning is hard. And oh my God, that means I suck, and I have to change being a pedophile, and I have to change, and I have to not be a misogynistic bigot. I have to not be a racist. Damn it, I have to not be selfish and greedy. I have to not be these things that are bad. I have to acknowledge not only that I am, but that I can change it. And I don't want to, because it's easier to just be that and hate myself because I'm born with original sin. And see, they told me that I was that way because they told me what I have is ADHD, and they gave me a drug to tell me that those things see, you're a person, you're that, you're psychotic, do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes,
Everything is a label and control and putting you in a box. And then they don't have to put you in a box anymore because you put yourself in the box.
Put yourself there.
You gladly buy all their products, thinking that you have diversity. You gladly buy all of their dogma, which you call your education. You gladly buy all of their spirituality, which they call their religion. They just separate you so that you don't have not all one religion. Wouldn't it be easier for the powers to be to just have us had all one religion? That way they wouldn't have problems with us and we wouldn't fight. They control us better as a herd? No, because that doesn't produce fear, doesn't produce division. And then once, what are they afraid of? The thing they're afraid of is what we're doing, is this, the unity of the one. That's what they've tried to do with all the division, the separation, the stopping of you getting all the signals, so that even though you can see these signals and know these signals, you can only see these signals. And we've told you can only see these signals. Don't look at the sun because you'll go blind. I look at the sun every day directly for hours. When I meditate, I sun meditate. I am not blind. I'm not able to go inside and see. What I do see is information. What I do see are the light bands of my people, the blue, the red, the magenta, the light white, blue, the emerald, and the gold. Those are my colors. Those are my people. That's the light rays of the Father, the Mother, the Christos. And that's what I see. And you know, when I talk to you, I see you. I need glasses because these biological things don't work anymore. I'm getting old and I've abused them. But I'm not blind. Looking into the sun has exposed me to seeing my chakra and seeing what's out of line. What is my chakra? What is your kundalini? What is that thing that we come back to? It's an energy receptor. You have them from the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, your third eye, and your crown chakra. Okay. All of these things are energy points in your body and or glands, depending, because those chakras can be fed through other things in your body. The third eye, the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus, you've seen that. That's what that represents. The pineal gland, which is in the middle, being calcified. Stop drinking fluoride. Remove fluoride, remove calcium supplements, remove aluminum from your diets and your bodies. No more aluminum in your, okay? No more fluoride, natural toothpastes. No more fluoride in your water. Go to 0 point energy, okay? Start to move to a plant-based diet. You don't have to stop eating, but start to move your body into a cleansed system. Stop putting in the things that they've been telling you to put in and start putting in the things that they've been telling you to not put in.
Go figure.
Iodine is good for you in certain amounts. Okay, certain metals, autoatomic minerals. Okay, oramus, autoatomic gold. Things like oil of oregano, turmeric, wheatgrasses, apple cider vinegar. You do your tonics, magnesium. These are the things that you need to align your body to open up your receptors again, because they've been blocking them with unnatural foods. When you start to do that, you start to align what's called your kundalini or your chakras. Those are your information points. Your bottom line chakra is your root chakra. It's the thing that has you here. It's the first three densities. First, second, third density, first, second, third dimension. Our root chakra. I can feel this, I can see this, I can hear this, I can touch this. We go from there to our sacral. Our sacral is our reproductive, our system, our sexuality, our sensuality, our male, female. We are both of that. And the problem we've been in is we've been in the masculine, manufactured, manufactured portion of existence right now, and going back to the Sophia feline female portion, and we're going back there because because that's the nurturing mother aspect. Every culture that was ever run by women has been run better than any other culture any man ever had in creation. All of the most enlightened and some of the most beautiful unconditional love societies and beings and species out in the universe are run matriarchal societies. We need to get back to that, because Warren and the things that we do as males is not existent. So I don't have a problem being in touch with my feminine side. I actually embrace it, and because and this can be misconstrued the wrong way. They're telling me how to say it correctly. I'm a hermaphrodite in my spirit.
Okay.
I am neither a male or female. I am both, as my creator is both and all things, because the creator is only the one creator, and the duality that he created or it created to separate itself into the yin and yang, or the male female, okay, is to experience itself through those two things and create then the ether of love and connection that everything else would go through. And to do that, father had to have a mother. So there had to be his male side and his duality that he then created into our duality, Christos and Sophia, which then, and it does align to the male and female only. You guys can take that the way you want. You have the free will to live the way you choose, to choose how your third dimension reality is experienced. When you move to fifth, sixth dimension, there's no understanding or need for you're a man or you're a woman, because you just are. So the dynamic and duality and the division created by our mental and man-made religion, construct, and DNA manipulation to screw with our DNAs, to have us have this tug of war between whether we're asexual, bisexual, desexual, visexual, asexual, is not outside this third dimension. It's a third dimension thing. It's a construct of the negative sources and entities making that a part of the way we think and the way we believe we are. But we're not, because inside me is every woman. Inside every woman is every man. We are one thing. Source. It's the constructs and divisions we've allowed to happen in our mind. Now, how does this get fixed? Once you know that there's a signal, there's a manipulation of the signal, there's a bad signal, there's a good signal, there's always been a good signal, we've not been here, all of that. You take all of that and you say, okay, I believe it. Now what do I do? So now I believe I got these colors, I got this chakra thing. What do I do with this chakra thing? What is this chakra thing? First off, all the chakras are fed by one chakra, the heart.
Okay.
So if you look at it as a line of colors, and you have a picture of Kundalini and chakras that we can be showing people now, okay, you'll see the heart chakra, which is the green chakra, which is, it ain't easy being green. And that's all about, the post is all about unconditional love and our aspiration to be the Christ, or the crystal, or the pure, or the light, or the unconditional pure light and love of our Father, which is the crystal Christ consciousness. I don't want to be Jesus Christ. Jesus was, and Jeshua, and all the Christs now, the Louis Christ, the Shannon Christ, the Shannon Sophia. Those are all versions of us trying to get to that and be that. But we're all here doing that. We're all here being that. It's so we know that that's available. Now, how do we manipulate it? The first thing is the body has to now process what the mind now kind of understands, even if the mind doesn't understand it. You can picture the picture that's in front of you, if we've shown it to you, of the chakras, where they're located. That each one of those is a certain wave. You'll go online, go to YouTube and type in binaural beats meditation music, and you're inundated with every chakra, every binaural beat you could possibly think of. 777, 333, 432, 430, 436, 798, 963. This is at 10,000 hertz, 1 million hertz. This is for your pineal. This opens this opens that. Okay, yes, that's what they're all for, and that's what the vibrations do. And there are alignments, and they do work. And there are crystals that go with that alignment. Stones, because stones and crystals have vibration. All of my rocks, all of my plants have crystals. My basil I was having a real hard time. I needed to know it. It needed to know I loved it. It has a rose quartz in it. It knows its love. It came back from the dead. My basil is absolutely doing wonderful. And she came back from being crushed. There was nothing on her. And she's got this because these have energy in them.
Smell beautiful.
So, it's amazing. She's great. And so all the plants like that. But the point is, so that these energy portals, glands, receptors in our body actually work. They work in conjunction with the signal that we've discussed is now happening. Yes. That we're going to now stop paying attention to as it's being sent from the bad guys, now that we know it's there and how it's coming. Because if we know how it's coming and how it's up, just to quote De Niro, you, I see what you did there. You're smart. Yeah, shoot the pillow. You. Okay, now we see it. And once you see it, game was over. As David Icke says, the game is over, the jig is up. I see the way you do things now. I now realize that every single mass shooting in the United States in the last 10 to 15 years, the FBI knew the name of the shooter, who the shooter was, what the shooter was going to do, and yet it still got done anyway. There's 20 instances of it. That's not a coincidence, folks. That's a pattern. That's a pattern when you think you have your population and your herd asleep, and you do. And it's only going to take outside intervention like it did last time, like it's going to do again. And outside intervention isn't anything miraculous. It's us coming back. It's the guardians, the keepers coming back to fix the planet like we said we would. Like you've been asking us to do, but it had to be brought to a part on a point in your lives and your existences that you asked for the help, that as a collective society and species of humans, that there was a collective, there's something wrong with our leaders, with our system, with our planet, with what's going on, with how I'm feeling, with what my children are being left to, with how people are treating each other. And it's not getting better, it's getting worse and worse and worse. Somebody, please help us. Unfortunately, it seems as if that's cool. It seems as if, why would a loving God or gods, or you guys, if that's who you are, why would you do that? Why would you let us go through this? Because if we came and we showed it to you, like everything else that's been handed to you, as a human species, you corrupt it
It's so
because
true.
you believe the system that you've been taught. And if you apply the system to anything we taught you, then it would simply continue to be corrupted. And there's another 25,000 year veil about and been argued to be put on you again. Another 25,000 year yuga cycle. And certain of us who've been doing this for millennia said, you know what, guys? No, enough is enough. They have suffered enough. We've suffered enough. I can't come back another 400th time and be reincarnated again, because now I don't want to be reincarnated anymore. You have to fix it, because even I don't want to come back anymore. It's that bad. And it needed to be done, though, because we're going to win. We were always going to expose it. Creator was never going to lose. It was always going to happen, but it was going to happen in his time. What is his time?
I hear you.
Our limited science says that we're 13.6 billion years old since the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
And we were once one planet that had a couple of things surrounded by us. And we were once actually governed by the sun when it was Saturn and not the sun, before they sent the sun in and caused the things that happened. And we had to realign everything because the beings that were here on the first Earth screwed it up so bad that they blew it up, and it became the asteroid belt, and it seeded the rest of the planets. And there was a whole screw up thing that we had to come in and then change all the vibrations and all the things that were going on. And Saturn had to be put way out there as the portal with the rings. Gee, if you turn it sideways, what's it look like? Big satellite dish? No kidding, it is. Oh, oh, there's a whole council of people out there. You know that the moon's hollow. Come on, go look it up now. The moon is full of beings. It's a kind of United Nations. You got to come in here. If you're going to come in here, you can't really screw it up. And Jupiter, the one on Jupiter with the hexagon, the intergalactic, interdimensional hexagonal portal on top of Jupiter, which is how they come in and out of the system. Okay. Saturn collects all the information, sends it through, because everywhere else was the golden age. The first sun, the second sun is up there now. Thunderbolts of the gods, archetypes. Venus was sent when she first came in. She was sent to be in a certain alignment with the new solar sun who came in to balance everything. They connected it all together. Okay, Jupiter has its own council. Inside Jupiter is a station that is basically the Galactic United Nations for dozens and dozens and dozens of species who are doing commerce and business in this solar quadrant of this solar system and this galaxy and part of the Milky Way. There's so much going on out there. It's Star Wars.
I just want to see it all. I just think it's so exciting.
Okay, yeah, and some of us might, some of us are going to see it. And that's the key. When enough people on the planet had said, yes, we need help, is when we had to come in and open your eyes. That also followed a cycle that we all knew was a cycle. That is a cycle that's been set, and we have no control over the cycle. And then the exciting part comes, we can't just land on the White House lawn and say, hey, we're here. How you doing? Orc, okay? We're here, and be blue and 17 feet tall, okay?
There's probably a movie about it, though.
There is, of course, there is. It's called Avatar. Big blue people that you turned into as
There's
you
so
laid
much
somewhere.
reality that they hide in movies. It's
Avatar
unbelievable.
is what we're doing now. We are the planet for Avatar. There are people under the planet. There are people in the planet. There are beings who are guarding the halls of Amenti and the sphere at the center of the planet right now that are way older than 13 billion years old. And they're huge. and they're in the planet. Our planet is a honeycomb full of lots of things. Why do you think all the domes are built? Because we had a feeble attempt to try to get to the people who live on the planet, and it's never gone well and hasn't gone well yet. We have lots of incidences that you can think of where we tried to get to the underneath the planet and into the systems that are controlled by other beings, and they were like, no. The people that live in the Marianas Trench, the Aquiferians, dolphins, let's go back to it, have a bigger brain than humans.
They are so
They're cognizant,
so
they're ethereal. They chose to be here. They have a planet all to their own, as do whales. There's so much going on. So you had to ask for the question. You had to ask us for help. You had to come to a realization that something's wrong. And you had to be willing to see it when we showed it to you. Because if you asked for help and you still didn't think anything was wrong, and you think that there was a serpent that gave an apple to Eve, who then gave it to Adam, and that's how all of this started with the original sin, and evil Yahweh, who was Enlil, and Enki, who was the serpent. So they made the serpent the bad guy, and they made Yahweh the good guy, when it's actually the other way around. And Yahweh, Enlil, was the one who wanted to enslave and keep mankind stupid and not fix the DNA and keep him as a slave. We don't like him. He's disgusting. He smells the stench of you in the Morpheus scene. It's the smell. It's the stench of you. And Anke, who was the serpent, which is the Kundalini, which is healing.
It represents health.
The serpent represents wisdom. And what he gave to us, DNA-wise, was the 12 strands of DNA. And Enlil went nuts, because these are entities now fighting for control over who's going to run man. They're brothers. They're actual brothers. They're part of the Draco Anunnaki who took us out at Atlantis and took over Egypt and took over the Sumerian texts and took over the things that we know. That they're all getting together again. They're building spaceships and stuff. Tower of Babel had nothing to do with an actual tower. It was a landing platform we were building. We got the technology. It was given by Enki. Oh, they're all talking the same language. Let's DNA them again. Let's screw them up again and make them all speak different languages. Tower of Babel. These are metaphorical stories in your Bibles that are real events that happened. That's the first thing you've got to get around, that they're real events that happened, that there's biologically, you were created for a certain purpose, to take the universe to the next level and meet with your creator. You are V'ger. Remember V'ger?
I love that.
V'ger. He just wants to touch creator. V'ger. It went all the way out. It came back. Creator. I want to touch my creator. And what was the creator? Light beings around that guy. That the one who she mated with, the bald head, the representative, the avatar of V'ger, who wanted to touch his creator. That's not a metaphor. That's how it works. We are light beings inside. And this Kundalini receives different wavelengths of sound, vibration, and light. The higher the vibration, the more difficult to see and hear. The lower the vibration, the more difficult to see and hear. But there's a certain level that we begin in decibels to hear. We begin in vibrations and light vibrations to see and experience. And it's all absolutely how the universe works. In every Bible, in every creation story, the one thing that is consistent is that the being, the creator, God, the one, spoke the universe into life. It was a sound. It was his one song. I am. That was the song.
Wow.
That's the song that they ask us to sing. That's what awakening is about. First off, know what you've been lied to and what you're not. Now learn how it works, how they've done it. Now accept how it works. Now see who you are. Now, with me, learn who I am is. Because I am wants us to come back to I am and say, I am, I am.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about. So I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me, you're talking to me, you're listening to me, you're listening to you. This is your answers. This is where it comes from. This is how it starts. This is the process. I'm in the process with you. For some reason, I've been chosen to do this. If no one sees this series, if one person sees this series, if this whole thing was all for you, just you, Shannon, and you go and take this and never say my word again, or my name, my name sound, what I am, which is a sound, an informational sound complex. That is Louis Christ. That is my sound complex. That's how I'm referred to, the sound complex of. If this never goes past vibrationally your sound complex, so that you can do that to one other person, and it ripples, and it ripples. I've done my job. I cannot, and we cannot. This was a hard thing to deal with. This was my hardest lesson. I cannot make you accept, any of you accept what I say. David can make you accept what he says. Randy, who tells you he's been back and forth and regenerated 100 times, and this is his clone talking to you, and he's fought insects on different worlds and been but was a pilot in intergalactic antimatter, anti-gravitic electromagnetic spaceships that we've had for decades and decades and decades. Reversed extraterrestrial technology, that we are extraterrestrial technology. We're just in a biologic technology. Our DNA is constructed as a vortex and a helix. It's all perfect. It works. It's science. This is quantum science. It's biologic quantum science. They've always said, what is the AI singularity? The AI singularity is that it becomes self-aware. What is the quantum singularity? The quantum singularity is knowing that we are the quantum. We are the singularity. Existence, we are existence. We are the information source inside this body, this sleeve. We are the biologic. We are the end result, the grand experiment. Can we experience ourselves not only in all the esoteric ways that we want to, as I am, as the creator, but can we make this even better? Can we take this to the next step? Because the next universe, after this one, after the 15th density, my God, we're in the 3rd density. I barely understand 4th density. I'm being told I'm going to go to 6th density, which means I can be a light being, I cannot be a light being. I have to believe that. I can walk through a wall, can I? Can I materialize? Can synchronicity happen? Can somebody put something on your computer that you had no control over about ancient civilizations and the Hebrews, as I'm talking about ancient civilizations, that's never happened to you before? Can that happen? Does it happen? Did it happen?
It did.
Okay, synchronicity. That's what this is all about. There's a system, and we're in control of the system. The first thing is to know that we're in control of the system. There is a system. We've been lied to. That system is not correct, but the system that we have in front of us is. Now, we can't just dismiss the system. Oh, now I know that that's a bad system. That was bad. I was manipulated. I don't want to see it anymore. Because now we're taking one polarity for the next. Yin is yang and yang is yin. It has to be connected. There has to be negative and positive. So you can't just now, I just want to look at this now. It's just light. I'm not going to look at the negative anymore. Or I'm just going to look at the negative. I'm not going to look at the light anymore. It's not that way. It has to be all together one.
Okay.
And that takes an opening up of all the chakras and all the energy portals and all the frames of reference we have, that anything and everything is possible, including ourselves, including the fact that we are gods, including the fact that when Ra asked that stone, when Ra, or the version of Ra that was over at Pumupunku, or was over at the Mayan or the Incan up in the Andes, and asked that rock to bend in a form that just can't possibly be to fit the jigsaw puzzle so that that wall was perfect, so that it's bent and it's got a little curve on it and it's got a little thing. Could you please make that shape for us? And the rock said, yes. There's no way to understand that that's possible if you think nothing is possible. Or unless you think you don't have to understand that it's possible to believe that it's possible.
That's a very good point. There's a lot of things that I believe to be absolutely real. I cannot explain them and I don't understand them, but I know what I see. And I know it's real. And
technology is not bringing.
That's just the way it is.
It's always been told that technology and science and God and spiritual and esoteric. And when I say God, folks, I am not talking religion. So you need to understand every word that I say when I say God or spiritual has nothing to do with the God construct that you believe or know. It's not Allah. It's not the spiritual esoteric thing up in the sky that the Christians believe in or the Presbyterians believe in, or that okay, it's not that. It has no religious construct whatsoever, because the spiritual that I'm speaking about is the ether, the Sophia. It is the information source that all of us can tap into that created us and then put it there as itself so we can create it, experience it like it experienced it. It is a thing. It's the force. It's magic, if you will. But it's not a God with a G, a big G. There never were gods with a big G. Those gods that were a big G were the Melchizedek and the Anunnaki and those archons and Dracos that came here. And because they could do certain things technologically that you could not, as a Bronze Age man in the year 2000, or an Iron Age man in the year 2000, you couldn't do those things. You were awed by it, and it was magic to you, and it was smoke and mirrors to you, and you couldn't understand that they built this whole construction thing, Ark of the Covenant, and this temple, and they sacrificed animals, and it all was for a flame speaker? What the hell is a flame speaker? Wait, okay, we're getting to Hebrew now. So build this thing for me, Moses. You don't understand it, but use gold, take it. It's got to be this by this, by this, by this. And only certain people can go in it. You got to use certain things. We're going to give you certain arcs and crystals to put in it. You got to make the cherubim a certain way. You got to do this. Only you got to make it this. It's got to be with quartz, and it's got to have all these scientific rings and things and distances. It's got to be perfect. And then what we want you to do is we want you to then go in there with a certain vibration of the chants and the prayers that you're doing with your words. Make a vibration to create an energy field, okay, that then will create an electric field that will then be into these cherubim, which are at a certain perfect angle, which creates a spark, which creates a hologram that can only be seen in smoke, so that when you burn the pelts, not sacrificing it because we want to sacrifice animals, we need the smoke. It's a screen. It was our hologram screen as Iron Age people, okay? And it has to come to a certain level where the cherubim are inside that ark. Then hologram electric signals being sent through the ark, and this thing you had us build with the directions, and you gave us the blueprint right in the Bible of every dimension and everything. It had to be in gold. Why gold? Because gold is the greatest conductor of electricity. So that when you do this, it creates a vortex of energy that creates, and when you do this and you do this and you sacrifice that sheep and the smoke comes down, hey, how you doing? We can talk to you. You can see us now. You got us? Are we on the screen? Are we on the holodeck screen? Moses, can you hear me? Hi, I'm in the smoke. Okay, here's what you got to do. You got to take the people. They're building something out there. It's gold. You got to take that away from them. They can't. The calf. They're not with the calf. I'm giving you some bread and some stuff. Eat. Okay. Call it manna. Call it whatever you want. Okay. And we'll talk to you in a few days. We need to put you in this room because something's going to happen, and then we'll get you over to Canaan as soon as we can. Talk to you soon. Okay. And we're going to put that on the tablet. And then he takes the tablet which is crystalline, the tablet which is crystalline. It says it in the Bible, in the Torah, it's a crystalline tablet. It is sapphire, okay? And when he comes out of the tabernacle and it's dark out because he's been in there all day, he shines like the glory of the Lord, the white glory of the Lord. Or close your your lights out, put your iPad on, turn your iPad up, and have it look at you, look in the mirror, and you shine with the glory of the Lord. The tablets were tablets. Tablets. That's why we call it a tablet.
Wow, that's
Wow.
boom.
Boom. The staff was also crystalline. By the way, he could roll the tablets up. If they were stone, how did he roll the tablets up? It says this. This is your Torah. This is your Hebrew Bible. Go back and look this stuff up. I'm not talking out of turn. All of this is verifiable. The toroid, which is how the universe works, information comes into a toroid, which is the center of an atom, and the information comes in, and when it hits a certain vibration, it hits the center point and pops into space, and it's an atom, and in that atom is the toroid. Okay, and then the toroid, if you take the toroid and you bend the toroid in certain angles and certain ways 26 times, guess what you have? The Hebrew alphabet, because the Torah is a quantum physics blueprint book.
Wow.
In code.
Unbelievable.
In code. It's in code. The 144s, the 12s, the 3s, the 9s, the 6, the Tesla codes, it's a quantum book of quantum physics. That's what the Torah is.
Jeez.
Now, how do you give this information to a Bronze Age man? Thank you. We did really good. Yes. Okay. And have him understand it. It's magic. It's the spirit. It's the glory of the Lord. Okay, you couldn't get into the cherubim because that thing that they were creating, those rocks that they put in there, was iridium. It was radiation. They were creating and holding in the Ark of the Covenant a thing that was irradiated, so that if you went in without the robes, which was all the stuff they made you put on, and were not protected, you got the glory of the Lord killed you, struck you down, didn't it? With boils and this and what, and radiation poisoning. Because that's what the Ark of the Covenant was. It was a source of energy so that they could talk to Bronze Age man Moses, who didn't have the technology to understand what was going on, which was given to him by Akhenaten. They weren't slaves. Take this. Go, because Thoth is here with all the guys from Melchizedek. They just attacked Atlantis. They're trying to get the Sphere of Amente. They're trying to get the Ark of the Covenant. These are real things that actually work and are physical, actual scientific technology that you don't understand, okay, or could never understand. But at the time we were trying to use them to get you guys off planet before the next solar flash, which we didn't do because they took over, and we had to run. We had to take that, and they had to run to Canaan, and they had to take the Sphere of Amente and the Ark of the Covenant. They had to run with it and hide with it, and then they changed the story completely, and 40 days became 40 years.
Wow.
3 days became 3 hours. Hours were days, days were minutes. So the whole Bible is listed in this is also the Library of Congress under Q. The Torah, Old Testament, is under Q for quantum, because it's a quantum physics book. And the toroids and the alphabet are the 26 ways to look at, why 26, I don't know, vibrations, 26 ways to look at a toroid and how it receives information. If you look at it this way, it's the letters of the Hebrew alphabet.
Unbelievable.
Yes, all designed to give you guys the enlightenment you should have had, that was kept from you by just a certain amount of elites. The pharaohs got screwed up, and what they did was they kept it for themselves. They first, when Akhenaten, when he threw out all of the gods for the one Ra, soul, law of one God, he almost got there, but they attacked. They don't want this just as much as we want it. And this is not something that we're talking about, that there's like ghosts fighting ghosts, okay? Out past the planet, it's Star Wars fighting Star Wars. It's clones. It's AI planets. It's planets of insectoids. It's manufactured beings that do nothing but fight for other beings. It's happening. It's true. It's real. Star Trek is real. I'm Captain Kirk. We all are, kind of. Some of us more so than others. Okay, I love sitting I love sitting in my chair with my Captain Kirk. This is my Captain Kirk pose. Okay, Chris Pine does a great job, but that's what happens out there. There's guys on starships who are running around the planet fighting real fights. They're running around the galaxies fighting real fights. Okay, it came to a point now where it's time that the Earth cannot be left in the dark anymore. It's the final battle. It's Armageddon. Now, here's the problem with Armageddon and the story you've been told about Revelations and Armageddon. First of all, Revelations is where we are. Revelations. This is Revelations. The truth is being revealed to you. Armageddon is not what you've been told. Look it up. Anybody look it up now that's watching. Go look it up. That's what it means. It means revealing, a revealing. It means an awakening, an explosive jolt of truth. That's what Armageddon means. It doesn't mean a fight. It doesn't mean a battle. If you look at the dictionary of what Armageddon means, it's the truth. That's part of this. Now we get to the good part, the Peter Pan part, because all of that's been exposed. We're here, we're doing it, and believe that it happened. If you believed they could do what they've done based on what you're seeing in front of your faces, if you believe what's happened based on all the information that you've gone out and looked for, that you've verified, the proofs, the validations of what we've talked about, there are hundreds of whistleblowers out there right now. Just put in disclosure, and what's going to come up is going to blow your mind. You'll learn all about the spaceships we have, the technology we have, the healing we have, the planets we've been to, how many species there are, how many species are here, what you don't know, what you don't see, what's happening. None of it, all of it's there. All of it's there for you, or none of it's there for you. It's up to you to go find that information. That's what's happening with this. Now, esoterically, there have been people out for a long time. Ram Dass, Greg Braden, Tim, he's on my my Facebook.
I'll look all these names up, but if you don't have any links, you can just email over. I'll include it all with
Tim. A lot of the people who are talking to you on Facebook, on Gaia right now, Mateus De Stefano, who is a fellow Atlantean, who's been here for a long time now. He's got a different version, a little bit different version, because he's from a different species, okay? He comes at it from there's a number of us, Palladians, Arcturans, Syrians, Orions, Lyrans, okay? These are right around the star systems right here in front of us, okay? Andromeda is only 4 light years away, okay? The Andromedans have been here a long time. 4 light years, a light year is just a year. Now, my species, my heritage is because I'm an avatar of many DNAs.
Okay.
There are certain of us who are in that consciousness, I'll say, without going detail. So we're a lot of things. So Palladians means a lot of things. There are as many species in the Palladian system, in the Orion system, in the Syrian system, that come from these planets, stars, and that we revolve around, or that revolve around those stars. So there are Arcturians, there are Aquafarians, there are the avians, who are the bird species. They look like birds. They have hands, but they look like birds. They're birds. They are the birds. Many of your omens will come from the avians. The Aquafarians, who are the whales, the mammals, those things that are conscious in the sea, okay, that chose to be here. There's a lot of that happening underneath the surface that no one's known about, that has now come to light. In addition to, you're this being. In addition to, my government's working. In addition to, my government's lied. In addition to, what about Jesus? In addition, it's almost insane, but it has to be this way, because you're not ready anymore.